All right, welcome back to the second article of the week. This week, the article is titled "The World's Fastest Eaters." And you might be thinking that those fastest eaters are probably students at Crossroads Intermediate because you have to eat so quickly. But no, you'd be wrong. There are actually people who eat faster than you, and we're going to read about those people today. You should have two documents in front of you. You should have the copy of the article, and you should also have your Cornell notes digital, and you are going to be taking notes just like last time on the different headers and sections of this article. You're going to be writing down key facts for each section just so that you don't forget some of this information. There's a lot of statistics in this article, a lot of numbers and facts and dates. So it'd be good to write those down. All right. So if you don't have that organized, go ahead and do that, and we'll get started. All right. Don't forget to put your name at the top and the title, The World's Fastest Eaters. Put that title in quotation marks. I'm going to go ahead and do my name. And The World's Fastest Eaters is the title. Capital T, W, F, and E. There is no author listed on this article, so we'll just leave that blank. Or what we can probably do here is put N.A., which means not applicable. There is no author for this one. All right, so just so that you can see, we're going to stop after the introduction and take notes, and stop after the three different sections and take notes. And at the end, you're going to write an objective summary of what this article is mainly about, okay? So let's head on over to the article. Take a look at this picture. Okay, you can see they got t-shirts on, there's big jugs of water, and they're stuffing their faces. Here comes the introduction. Competitive eating is a strange sport. Yes, it's a sport. It's drawing more and more attention each year. It is also called speed eating. It's a battle of who can eat more food in a set time, typically 10 to 15 minutes. The sport is often sanctioned or officiated, that means they have judges or like referees, by the International Federation of Competitive Eating. They host, set rules, and judge the most famous competitive eating events in the world. All right, there's our introduction. I think you could probably pull two facts out of that introduction. I think the first one is it's interesting to note that competitive eating is a sport. Now, some people may argue and say, no, it's not really a sport, but the people who compete in it and the people that train for it might disagree. But according to this article, and we're just going to write this down as a fact because this is what this article said, it's not our opinion, is that competitive eating is a sport. What else did this article say in the introduction? See, it's drawing more attention, speed eating. I would say it's let's use this word sanctioned. That's a great vocabulary word, a word that we don't normally hear. So let's say the sport is sanctioned by the International Federation of Competitive Eating. Let's get those big words down. It is sanctioned by the International, let me go back and check that name again, Federation of Competitive Eating. Period. It is sanctioned, or that's like the refs, the people who judge. It is sanctioned by the International Federation of Competitive Eating. That's good. Those are two key facts that we learned from the introduction. All right. I'm going to come down to this section of the notes, and I'm going to go ahead and get my bullet set up. I always use this one here. I like the little round bullets. You can choose different bullets if you want to. That's fine with me. All right, we're going to head back to the first header, which is the fierce competition. All right, I want you to try to find 3 key details, 3 facts from this section. On July 4th, 2018, Joey Jaws Chestnut returned to Nathan's hot dog eating contest. He had his eye on the prize, the mustard belt. He had already claimed the mustard belt 10 times, and he had already set a world record. Chestnut had prepared well for the event. He was confident he would take home the belt. He didn't let any other serious eaters like Matt Megatoad Stoney intimidate him. Joey barreled through his heaping plates of Nathan's hot dogs. He switched between fistfuls of hot dogs and soaking wet bread. He ignored his body's natural cries for him to stop. He never stopped, not even when he almost got a hot dog lodged in his throat. That means he almost choked. And he did not stop when he noticed a counting error on the electronic scoreboard. His determination paid off. He won the mustard belt for the 11th time, $10,000 cash, and he had broken his own world record of 72 hot dogs. Joey Jaws Chestnut ate 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes. At age 34, he currently holds 43 world records. So this is all about Joey Jaws Chestnut. I don't think we need to go through all of the details of this specific competition. What I would probably include is that he currently holds 43 world records. And his most current world record is the 72 hot dogs in 10 minutes. What else? He had his eye on the prize. Oh, you get to hear my cuckoo clock. Enjoy that. I would say he's very determined to win this contest every year. Is that an opinion? No, that's an inference. I'm making that inference from the fact that he didn't let anyone intimidate him, and he almost choked, but he kept going. Yeah, I'm going to say he's a very determined competitor. So Joey Chestnut. What's his last name? Joey Jaws Chestnut. I got his name mixed up. All right, Joey Jaws Chestnut is a fierce competitor. He has won the Nathan's hot dog contest. How many times did he win? 11 times. And then I would say, let's put an apostrophe on that. I would say that he currently holds 43 world records. I think that's pretty impressive. Okay, you see how I did that? I just picked out what I thought were the most important or key details from that section, and I listed them here. Now, I'm only going to do those 2 sections. I want you to do the next 2 sections. I'm still going to read it, and we're still going to talk through it, but I want you to decide what the key facts are to put in your notes, okay? So we're going to head on back to the next section. And this is, I just want to point out to you, a text feature. Text feature is anything extra beyond the actual words that gives you more information. So this image is a text feature, and there's a description underneath it. And it says, Joey Jaws Chestnut wins Nathan's hot dog eating contest by downing 74 hot dogs on July 4th, 2018. And that was the competition that was described that I just read in that previous section. So there he is, holding his mustard belt. He's super happy. And he's holding what probably is the amount of hot dogs that he ate in how many minutes? In 10 minutes. With the buns. It's not just the hot dogs. That's what's so amazing. It's with the buns. because bread, as you know, is very filling. So that's even more impressive, I think. Just my little opinion there. All right, we're going to move on to the next section, the history of speed eating. All right, remember, your job is to determine the key details. Eating contests began as friendly pie eating contests at county fairs and picnics. These contests included children and adults. They sat side by side with their hands tied. They would dive down face first and pig out. The first to finish was declared the winner. Eating contests of other food items like hot dogs and pizza have been around since the early 1900s. Nathan's hot dog eating contest began in 1916. 4 immigrants held the contest just to prove who was more patriotic. The sport, however, caught the eye of the competitive market in the early 2000s. A Japanese contestant, Takiro Kobayashi, won 6 contests in a row from 2001 to 2006. In 2001, he shattered the record of 25.5 hot dogs by gobbling 50 in 10 minutes. His incredible skill introduced the true idea of true advanced speed eating and training techniques used by speed eaters today. Nathan's hot dog eating contest draws crowds of about 40,000 to 50,000 each year. It is broadcast each year on ESPN2. Wow, 50 in 10 minutes. Okay, so we're going to go back to your Cornell notes, and I want you to bullet 3 key details for that section. I'm going to pause the video so that you can go back into your article, starting at where it says the history of speed eating, and decide what you think belongs in that part of your notes. All right, we've made it to the final section. The header is titled Behind the Scenes. I want you to notice how this article is organized. It's similar to the SpaceX article, where we have an introduction, and then we have a little biography, and this one happens to be about Joey Chestnut. And in the previous article, the little biography was about Elon Musk. And then it goes into the history of how this came to be, the same thing in the first article that we read. And now it's going into some extra details behind the scenes. So let's find out what it means by behind the scenes. Don't forget, you're looking for at least 3 key details for your notes as well. Many of the top competitive eaters have made this a career. Matt Megatoad Stoney, age 25, has a net worth of $500 million as a competitive eater and YouTuber. We are professionals. We aren't just average Joes who have big appetites. We've calculated our techniques and approaches to these contests. We've trained our bodies and worked for what we've accomplished, says Stoney. Competitors of the sport undergo tough training under extreme medical supervision. So there are doctors by them. They're not doing this alone. They're being safe as they can be. But it's dangerous. The key to success is stomach elasticity. And elasticity means how stretchy something is. Think about The Incredibles and think about the mom in The Incredibles. Wasn't she like Elasta Woman or something? I can't remember her name. But she could stretch. Your stomach can stretch as well, but it only can stretch so far. Training involves months of stretching the stomach further and further. Due to the risks involved with this type of training, the International Federation of Competitive Eating discourages anyone from using this harsh training. Medical professionals have studied the effects of speed eating or binge eating. They say that the stress put on the stomach during training and events can cause serious side effects. These include ulcers and stomach perforations. That perforations means like cuts or where it breaks open. Water intoxication from gulping abnormally large quantities of water, choking, nausea, vomiting, and even death. All speed eating contests are held with plenty of emergency responders there for these reasons. So it's not as happy, silly little competition as it sounds. It can be pretty serious. So we've got to keep that in mind. Before you go back to your notes, we need to finish the article. We can't skip the text features. They're a part of the article as well. We have a chart on one side and another image on the right. So let's look at the chart first. It says Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest winners by year, and it's organized with men in their number of hot dogs and then women in the number of hot dogs, and then the year that they won, starting in 2011 all the way up to 2018. I just want you to look at it, see what you notice. Do you see any trends? Do you see any things that kind of stick out at you? Is that something that might be surprising or interesting? I noticed a few things. I noticed Joey Chestnut. He is definitely the clear leader for the men, except for this one year in 2015, Matt Stoney won. But Joey Chestnut, he beat Matt Stoney, who had 62 3 years prior he tied him 1 year, and he actually went down to 61 this year. But I wonder what happened to Joey in 2015. I wonder if he was ill, if he didn't make the competition, if he was somehow disqualified. I'm going to have to do a little research to find out. But then he came back in 2016, and there he is with 74, the highest of all the years of the competition. And then on the women's side, we have two clear leaders here. We have Sonia Thomas with 40 and 37, and then Miki Sudo, who started at 34 and made her way up to 41 and then dropped a little bit down to 37. And then when you compare the men to the women, either the men have much larger stomachs than women, or maybe their stomachs can have more elasticity. Maybe they can stretch more than the women because they have almost twice as many hot dogs as the women for the competition. So that's just interesting to point out. And then over to the right, Miki Sudo, there she is in 2017, which was the year I'm looking at on the chart where she ate 41 hot dogs, and she's holding 1, 2, 3 of her mustard belts. And of course, the ladies have pink ones. And they must be from 2016, 15, and 14, those 3 years prior to her 2017 competition. Maybe even 4, actually, if I look carefully. I think she's holding 4 belts. Yes, 4. I should have read the information. 4 belts. Okay, so there you have it. There's this last section of the article, behind the scenes. You get to decide what goes in your Cornell notes. And then after you put down those 3 facts from the article, I want you to look back at your notes and write an objective summary. Objective means you don't put your opinion in. You're just reporting the facts like a newspaper reporter. You can't say food eating contests are disgusting. You can't say that because that wasn't said in the article. That's your opinion. And then it would not be objective anymore. It would be biased. And we don't want biased summaries. We want objective summaries without your opinion. So make sure you don't insert your opinion. You just, in a couple of sentences, tell me what you think the best summary of this article is. And after you've done that, you can turn your work in.